Welcome to the Market Smarter, Sell More podcast. I'm your host, Andy Barnett, joined as always by the man who puts Hayes in Hayes Group, my co-host, Mr. Adam Hayes.
What's up? Good. How are you?
I barely got that out.
Hey, there's worse things to get choked up on, right?
Yeah. That's right. What's new?
Oh, same old, same old.
Yeah. We got the draft coming up in a couple weeks.
We do have the draft coming up in a couple weeks. I know you're going to ask me about the Bears.
I love it.
So everybody expects them to pick Caleb Williams.
Yeah.
The challenge is, the Bears are probably going to do a Bears thing. They'll probably trade out of that spot with no quarterback. And
right.
You get a haul of picks and then still not have a quarterback. Who knows?
Because you can be really, really good. And I think the NFL has proved no matter how good you are defensively, you have to have a quarterback.
Yeah.
You can't compete without a quarterback.
Yeah. I mean, it's true. You look at the last 20 years, how many times have, defensive, dominant teams won? Very few, maybe two of those Super Bowls.
Yeah. Right.
The rest of them are, it's Aaron Rodgers, Peyton Manning, Tom Brady, Patrick Mahomes.
Exactly.
Eli got a couple too. Yeah.
There's literally like 5 dudes that won all the Super Bowls in like a 12-year period.
Yeah.
Russell Wilson, I think, and Roethlisberger. It was like for a long time, it was Roethlisberger, Russell Wilson, Peyton, Eli, and
Brady.
Tom Brady.
Yeah.
And they won all the Super Bowls for like a 15-year span. And
then you throw in a random Flacco and a random Brad Johnson and a random Drew Brees, right?
With those good defenses.
Yeah.
So I was trying to forget about the Drew Brees one. Thanks.
Well, he is a Purdue alum, right?
Yeah. I know. That's right. Give a shout out to our Purdue fans.
I feel bad. I mean, UConn just owned them in that game.
Oof.
Oh, they just
I know. That's what
they did.
As an IU fan, there was a little bit of conversation had amongst the community of, do you still cheer for Purdue? Because they're a local team. Do you support the Big Ten? Do you support local? I was able to do that with Butler. They're not a Big Ten team, but they were, they're a local team. But my line pretty much is that I would have rooted for Satan himself before I rooted for Purdue. And I think as a true fan, you got to do that.
Yeah, I mean, it's the same with the Bears, right? I mean, if the Packers were in the Super Bowl against even anybody. Tom Brady, I'd probably still root for Tom Brady to beat him.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the same analogy I used with a good friend of mine who is also a Bears fan. And he was like, you're not going to cheer for them? I was like, no. Would you cheer for the Packers? He's, a huge Bears fan. And he was like, all right, I get it.
Yeah. You just don't.
Get it. Yeah.
But at the same time in the division, I'd cheer for Detroit, and I did last year.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Or Minnesota.
Because they're not the nemesis.
Yes, exactly.
Any other Big Ten team, I could have been like, all right, I'm behind you.
Yeah.
I'm there.
Let's go, Wildcats, right?
Let's go. Whoever you are. Yeah. Whatever your mascot is. Go, win, whatever. I don't care. I'm out of it. Okay. Let's jump into a little business related question here. I got for you. You've
been thinking about this one a minute or what?
Well, about a minute. I just came up with it a few minutes ago, but I thought it would be interesting. You've been in this game a long time, dude. You're an old guy.
I'm a dinosaur. Seriously.
I know you are. How have you seen marketing change, digital marketing specifically, change, since the time you've been doing this? Let's just say 15 years.
Yeah, it's an interesting question. So the fundamentals have never changed. The fundamentals of what it takes to do proper marketing has not changed at all. The tools that we do it with have changed and evolved greatly.
And still are. And
they evolve quickly. So, I'll just give you a for instance. So one of the challenges, a silent challenge that most agencies aren't talking about is the pace of change of the tool sets they're using to help deliver marketing campaigns for their clients. So the pace of that change, even as recently as a few years ago, would be once or twice a year, they would update the interface of what you're working with or the requirements of how you're, connecting things together for attribution purposes. Now the pace of change literally feels like biweekly. Meaning, so that changes our standard operating procedures internally. Right. And so all that pace of change, and then that has to happen, multiply that by the number of clients that we have. Right. So now we have to go address that. And we have to do it 15 times if we have 15 clients or 25 times if we have 25 clients. And so that pace of change, we're not in control of. The tool sets that we're using are in control of that pace of change. And we are forced to adapt very quickly. So I would say that is the biggest change that I've seen. But it's all, the things that stay the same are the fundamental building blocks of building a brand. What's your total addressable market?
Sure.
What's your core message? Who are you talking to? What's your, imagery? What's your messaging say? And is it clear, right?
Sure.
And furthermore, do you have a good product?
Right.
And that's kind of the baseline. And if that's not in alignment, then marketing or sales aren't going to help.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Well, that makes sense. You can, lipstick on a pig,
Exactly.
But, when you mention that about, technology, it's kind of mirroring, society in general, when you see how, end on end, that it's double time every time, the speed and the pace that technology is changing and evolving.
Yeah, I think we talked about that at a few episodes ago, right? And we were talking about, the pace of change, and I think we were talking about it in the context of just AI in general.
Yeah.
And one of the things I brought up on there, and I still think is true, is I'm not sure that we haven't reached the pinnacle of our ability to adapt as fast as the technology is evolving.
Yeah. Well,
right.
Which makes sense. And that kind of mirrors what you just said. Like, at what point is it a complete, full-time job for somebody just to keep updated with, the biweekly, daily, at some point, potential updates of products? So,
right.
It would present quite the challenge. So that's interesting. So good.
Well, yeah, that's a good question, man.
Look at that.
You got another one?
Look at that.
Throw another one.
I'm saving it.
Lob it. You're saving it for the next one?
I'll save it for the next episode. Look at that. All right. Stick with us. After this short break, we will be back with our guest. LHP Analytics and IoT. No question you've heard the term digital transformation. What the heck does it mean? At its core, the goal of digital transformation is to remove bottlenecks in operations to grow your bottom line, specifically your manufacturing operation. Do you want to extend the life of your machines, accelerate production lines, enable smart manufacturing, eliminate out of stocks in your supply chain, or escape constant unplanned downtime? Let LHP quickly identify the inefficient gaps in operations to unlock hidden insights and deliver continuous improvements that empowers higher profits. Visit their website to book a strategy session today. LHP IoT, digital transformation that fuels profit. Welcome back to the Market Smarter, Sell More podcast. We are now joined by our guest, my good friend, the founder and owner of Draco Logistics. Mark, tell the people who you are, what you do, where you came from.
Yeah, thanks for the invite. I really appreciate it. Sorry about last time too. I mean, we were supposed to connect 2 weeks ago, and I ended up basically
forgot.
Yeah, I forgot. Stood you guys up like a prom date, right?
That's okay. It's all right.
So Draco is a third-party logistics company that has a core focus on food and beverage, right? So our business has completely diversified away from consumer goods to food and beverage, basically. We've been doing that now for 5 years, but Draco's been in business since 2006. Like I said, our focus is filling a void that the market struggles to fill, right? Which is variety packing, custom packing, all these different packs that these beverage brands sell to retailers or Amazon. That's where we come in. I mean, we fill that void. And so we're probably packaging anywhere from 250 to 300,000 variety packs a week, shipping through Amazon, Costco, club stores, grocery stores. And that's really what our core focus has been.
Yeah, that's awesome. So how did you figure out the niche?
Well, I fell into it by accident. Actually, a customer reached out to us on the internet. And at the time, they were tiny. Their initial comment was, we need you to store 200 pallets and to pack around 500 kits a week. So we're like, great, it's a beverage brand. And that didn't last long. I mean, it went from 200 to 400 to 600 to 1,000, then a new building, then another building.
Yeah.
And now that company has gone public. They're publicly traded. They went public about a year and a half ago. Now we have 35,000 pallets of product.
How much square footage you in now?
We're in a little over 1 million square feet.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah.
All in one, not in one place, right?
No, it's spread across 3 locations.
Okay.
But our main food and beverage center is 753,000 square feet.
Wow.
And how much of that has to be refrigerated? So,
So that's a good question. We're not in the refrigerated market yet. We're looking to get into cold storage and refrigeration down the road. Right now, we're just in general warehousing, food grade space. Obviously, we are almost done with our SQF audit, which that's going to allow us to take on bigger brands, more food products. Right now, our beverage has been the core focus, but we really want to diversify into food. So anything that's basically, prepackaged, we can handle it. We can manage it. Yeah.
So what were other companies like yours struggling to do, and why, how do you think you overcame what they were unable to do to fill that void in the marketplace that you seem to pick up?
Sure. Well, here's the thing, beverage business moves fast, and a lot of the warehousing companies that are doing the business now are very, what's the right word? How can I be polite? They're
just say it. This is not a PC
great.
Correct.
They're kind of jerks, right?
Yeah.
So they have too many rules, too many regulations, too many parameters that the customer has to live in between. So with us, we offer flexibility, and we're able to pivot like really fast. And in this industry, you have to be able to pivot, right? You're doing one thing one day, and then all of a sudden the market demand is something else, and you got to be able to turn fast. And that's really where we outshine the competition, is our ability to do so. But that's backed up by great staff. I mean, I can't speak highly enough about our staff. They're just they're great people.
How many people are you up to now?
We're north of 100.
Yeah,
north of 100 people.
Wow. So that was going to be my question, was how much square footage you're in now, that's just crazy. Knowing, knowing how it all began, it's like, fantastic.
Well, it's funny because sometimes, I walk into that place, and we have a mezzanine, and we built it specifically for client visits. It just gives you a beautiful aerial view of the entire operation.
Sure.
And sometimes I just go up there and I'm just in awe. Like, I can't figure out how it happened either. I'm just like, how the hell did we get here?
Like, this is pretty cool.
Yeah, it is. It is. It's cool, right? And we've had our story is really interesting. I mean, we were talking a little bit earlier. I mean, we almost went bankrupt in 2010. I was one of those guys that I thought running a business was easy. So I knew operations, I knew customers, but what I didn't know was the finance side of it, right? And you run out of money quick. And that saying, you can grow yourself out of business, absolutely true. 100%. You really can.
Wow.
Yeah.
So talk more about that story. What was so from the point you went, we're in trouble, what transpired from there?
Well, it was
tell us about your darkest days.
Oh man, the darkest days. So so really what happened was I hired a person that was actually stealing from us, right? And he was in a financial position, and he was able to basically, for lack of a better term, cook the books, right? So when I would look at it, everything looked fine. But I noticed that, vendors were cutting us off. There was like collection calls and notices. So I was part of a networking group called Vistage, and I shared my concerns with my small group, and they basically recommended a guy to come in and help us. His name was Ken Napick. He was with
I know Ken.
Yeah, B2B CFO. And Ken went in there and started, putting his hands on everything, and basically uncovered that someone was stealing from us. And we're going to go out of business in about 30 days.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was that bad.
Yeah.
So I had already decided by talking to Ken that probably the best course was for me to file bankruptcy. I was like, you know what? I don't know if I can manage this stress. People are calling, collecting money. So we were actually walking downtown to a lawyer's office to sign bankruptcy papers, and I pulled out. I was like, you know what, Ken, I'm not going to do it. Ken was like, well, if you don't, this is probably going to be one of the hardest things that you'll ever have to do is pull out of this situation.
Right.
Like, if you're willing to stick it out with us, I'm willing to do it. And, Ken was a loyal, faithful partner, man. I mean, some of the things that Ken implemented in our business back in 2010, we're still doing them today. Still following the discipline, still following the structure. And it's proven successful.
That's awesome.
And so what happened was we buckled down. We basically told people, we can't pay you.
Yeah.
You have two options: sue us, take us to court, you get nothing.
Yeah.
Or be patient and we'll pay you back.
Exactly.
We paid back every single dollar that we owed. We even borrowed $1 million of high interest money to give us some cushion, paid that back. And even today, that guy that loaned me $1 million still apologizes because he said, I didn't think you were going to make it, but I knew that I had security and I was going to be able to get my money back, you know, through repossessing your, collectible, your receivables, all that good stuff. Right. And today he's still a friend, and he came to see our building for the first time in years. He literally cried. He was so proud of us, right?
Yeah.
Because we were that young, struggling company that nobody thought would make it. Your ex-employer even looked me in the eye and said, you're not going to make it out of this. I'm sorry. You're just not going to do it. And here we are today. I mean, we made it, right? And it's been a long journey, but
hey, you bet on yourself.
And then not only that, Andy, but when we're talking earlier in your office, it's like the biggest struggles that you go through in life really mold you into what you are today. And those struggles are the biggest blessings that we could ever get, right? Because they just make you a better person. They make you a better, smarter business owner.
Sure.
And for me, man, I wouldn't change it in 100 years. I would do it all over again because I know the result now. And
your wife might not.
My wife, poor woman, man. When you can't take your wife to do her nails when you're eating bologna sandwiches. I mean, we had one winter where we didn't have any heat.
Yeah.
We had a space heater, man, because we couldn't pay the bills, right?
Yeah.
And man, it's just about grinding it out, toughing it out, and just surrounding yourself with the right people, cutting out the virus and just moving forward, man.
Yeah.
And it's really what we've done. And it's been a blessing. I can't.
Yeah.
Well, so how did Draco get started originally?
Yeah. So Draco, man, I was a disgruntled employee. I was working for a company as an operations manager. The owner promised me a certain bonus, right? If I hit certain profitability goals, right? So I did everything I was supposed to do.
Sure.
Blew it out of the water. So bonus time was during the Christmas party, right? So the owner's handing out bonus checks, and he hands me mine. I put it in my coat pocket because I didn't want to insult anybody sitting around me, right? I was going to get a huge bonus. So we're driving home, and my wife's like, "Hey, let's check out that bonus check." So I opened it up, and it was
coupon
$300.
Oh,
it's missing some zeros.
Right? Yeah, right. Yeah.
And so I said, okay, well, this has to be a mistake, right? So Monday I went to the accounting manager's office, and I said, hey, seems like there's something wrong with my bonus check. He's like, oh no, it's right. Ownership said that you make good money now. You have a good salary. This is plenty.
He thought you were telling him it was too much.
Yeah, something. But so I said, okay, I understand where I stand in the importance of things. So I basically went back to my office upset. I vented to one of my customers, and I said, Tina, I'm gonna leave. And she's like, why? She goes, I love working with you. I was like, well, it's just not working out for me. And she said something that changed my life, man. She said, you should start your own company. You would be good at it. I said, seriously? She goes, yeah, I'll send you work. I was like, really? She goes, absolutely. So I resigned. I got online to the Secretary of State. Like, how do you start a business? Right?
Yeah, right.
And I saw that it was pretty easy.
Sure.
I paid the $100.
Yeah.
Got a certificate, filed for a tax ID.
Yep.
I went to 5201 West 86th Street and rented a little piece of earth. Right. And I had a business. So I called her. I was like, well, I got a business. I said, here's a production table. Here's a little space that's mine. And here's my Secretary of State filing and federal tax ID.
Yeah.
And she sent me business.
And we're off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And to this day, Tina is still a friend. She has sent us opportunities, numerous opportunities throughout our relationship. She was the first person to believe in Draco / me. Right. And I'm always grateful for her because she gave me that opportunity. And to this day, I still talk to her and I still thank her. And she still says, no, stop. You don't have to thank me.
Well, shout out to Tina.
Yeah, Tina, man. She's
good work,
an awesome
Tina.
Person, yeah.
How do you generally?
How do we get her on the podcast?
That's right.
Yeah,
That's right. Yeah.
she's
That's who we
great.
really want to talk to.
That's who you really need.
We're going to need to cut this short. We need to get Tina over here.
Good luck to her.
How do you generally acquire your new business?
Yeah, it's interesting. So everything is all online marketing, right? We do no cold calling. We do no pounding the pavements, handing out brochures, business cards, none of that. I mean, I don't even have business cards. I probably should have business cards, but I don't. It's all inbound marketing, right? People searching for us on the internet or referrals, with current business. We figured out fast that the food and beverage industry is pretty tight knit industry. They all know each other.
Right.
You could say they compete against each other, but there's so much market share out there. I mean, who's really competing, right? So referrals and inbound marketing is really how we find our business. Yeah. Awesome. Some of our biggest customers have came through the internet.
Any trade shows?
That's something that I need to start looking into, because you're like the 20th person to mention that. But I hear that the trade shows are worth it, right?
Yeah.
I personally don't have time to go because of just my family situation, right, with the kids and everything. But I'm going to probably start sending some of my staff members to go and, attend these shows and see what kind of leads we can generate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially in that food vertical, beverage vertical.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, I know you want to get over to personal and spin that wheel.
Yes, I know.
Oh, yeah.
Well, first, I think is a good segue into personal too.
Sure.
And of course, I know this story. Adam will love it too. Is why don't you talk about when you knew you were an entrepreneur? When you were selling those?
It's funny. So
this tells you what kind of person he
is. In high school, you used to have to find jobs through ads on the paper. And I saw an ad that said, $500 a week, guaranteed, fun job, this, that, and the other. So I was like, I want to have fun. I want to make $500.
Yeah, right.
Why not? So I went to this real tiny warehouse, and I'm from Texas, and this was in Irving, Texas. And you walk in, and it's real mysterious. It's like a fly-by-night type of operation, right? You go to the back, and they just got all these folding chairs. And the lady's like, yeah, take a seat. We'll be right with you. And I'm like, looking around, I was like, well, I'm going to probably have to interview with them, against a lot of people, because there's like 50 people here. So all of a sudden, lights go out, there's lasers, there's smoke, and this high-powered energy guy comes out and starts like clapping and, who wants to make money? And we're like, I do, and say it louder, who wants to make money? And, so he's one of those guys, right? And so basically the gist was they give you a product and you go sell it. Like you pound the pavements and you go sell it. Right? So my first day there, I went and I sold like kids' books. And I did okay. They drop you off at a shopping center, and you're like talking to ladies while they're doing their hair. And some of them tell you to screw off.
Yeah.
Some of them give you $5 for the book, right? So I was like, well, I don't know if I'm going to make $500, but I was like, I'll give it another shot. So the next day we were selling kitchen knives, like a little 5-piece kitchen knife set. And I had a duffel bag, and they dropped me off at this apartment complex that was only Spanish-speaking people, and I speak Spanish. Dude, I was killing it, man. I was knocking on doors. Everybody was buying from me.
Did you go back for refills?
I went back for refills. They stopped everyone that was selling and said, bring all the knives over here. We want all the knives. I made like $1,400 that day. And they were like shaking my hand. They wanted to promote me, right?
Give them a plaque. Yeah.
Give me a plaque. I quit the next day. I was like, I got $1,400. That's going to last me a long time.
Right. Yeah, right.
I was like, I don't need to work anymore.
I'm rich.
But I did find out that I did have a talent for relationships, right? I don't like to call it sales. It's about relationships to me. And that was really my first exposure. And ever since then, I kind of figured out, I'm pretty good at this. So yeah, that's how I figured it out.
Yeah, it's interesting. You were at the right place at the right time.
Right place, right time. High-powered, energy sales guy.
Yeah, there you go. Was it, just out of curiosity, was it like Cutco knives or Ginsu knives, or do you even remember?
No, these were like cheap, made in China, $6 knife set. I mean, they were cheap, right? I mean,
wow.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't know, I killed it. I mean, think about it. Do the math.
Yeah, right.
It's like selling
ice. Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's funny.
Ice cream to kids, right?
Oh.
Hey, you want some ice cream?
Yeah.
Some candy? Not too hard.
No, but that was an interesting job.
Are you an early bird or night owl?
I'm early bird. I'm up at 4 a.m. Yeah.
Has it always been that way?
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. I started I've lost 200 pounds, and I started a fitness journey, let's call it, I don't know, about 3 years ago. And I just found that in the morning is really when I have the most time, right? I can exercise. I can, do my morning prayers. I can, get lunches ready, because once 6 o'clock hits and, the girls wake up, it's like chaos after that, man. It's a process.
So what's this exercise journey look like?
Yeah. So I started off just basically, when you're 460 pounds, you really can't do much. So I started off just walking, then walking turned into like 2 minutes on the elliptical trainer, right? Because, it was hard. And I had to get it in my head that, this was a life change and not just another diet.
Yeah.
Right.
And that's really you tried several things over the years.
I tried Atkins. I tried, keto, low carb. I tried, no eating. I tried overeating, vegan. And nothing really worked because, and I'm not trying to say anything negative about those diets, but it was my mentality that was off. Right? You expect results quick. And I had to understand that it's not a quick journey. So when I put that in my head and I just started, just changing my lifestyle, making good eating choices, being disciplined about fitness, dude, the weight started coming off. And then about a year and a half ago, I discovered CrossFit, and that was like a game changer. I mean, that was,
Remember you telling me about the mirror.
You still well, you kind of outgrow those things. My wife still uses it, but it's, kind of Jane Fonda sitting there, doing aerobics and stuff, but it was great. It was great.
I thought it was cool how you told me you could stand in front of it and see, it would show you like you're in a
live class. Yeah. And the instructor can call you out and say, get those knees higher, Garza. But then I started getting more into weightlifting and, more, I found that the reason I like CrossFit so much was really because it's all about compound body movement. Right. And it's really what you do every day, getting up, bending over, squatting, picking things up. And when you incorporate that with weights and strength, it's good functionality.
Yeah. Functional fitness.
Oh yeah. It's awesome.
And those compound movements, man, they really, really amplify your results.
Oh, they do. They really do. And, but again, I mean, you got to couple it with nutrition. I mean, it has to be about good eating choices.
Yep.
It's hard. Don't get me wrong. I mean,
can't outwork a poor diet. It's hard. Yeah.
Yeah. My weakness is ice cream. I go.
That's your favorite. That's your weakness.
Gosh. Oh yeah. Yeah. If it's in the house, it's gone.
So now that you are where you are with both the fitness journey, your business is doing a good job. What's on the future horizon for you? What are you looking at right now?
Yeah. So, right now I think I want to, diversify, my sources of income. It's not good to have all your eggs in one basket. So I've been looking at exploring other investment opportunities, maybe some spin-off businesses, from Draco. One of the things that we did start is a beverage recycling program. So basically, BevRS is one of our other companies, and it stands for Beverage Recovery Services. And we found that all these products have an expiration date, and when they expire, someone needs to dispose of them properly. So we built a business around expired product, and that business has been going pretty well.
That's cool.
Yeah. So really that, and like you and I were talking, I mean, I have a long-term exit strategy, I don't want to be doing this forever. So at some point, over the next 5 to 7 years, I'd like to be in a position where my company's attractive to someone, right? And formulate an exit strategy,
Sure.
Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah.
Sure. What's funny? I see this question about best vacation. I don't know if I've ever known. I know you. I'm sure you've taken vacations. Yeah. I feel like since I've known you, though,
I'm not much of a vacation.
Yeah, I don't remember you ever talking about I went on this vacation.
So what do you do to unwind?
To unwind, I mean, aside from fitness, I mean, really for me, it's just spending time with my girls, man. I mean,
and what ages are they?
So the twins are almost 3. Twin girls are almost 3. Irene and Itzel, and Sarah is 7. So I'm a girl dad. And really, I mean, it's just having fun with them, man. I coached softball for the first time this year, and that was interesting.
Yeah.
It was fun, right? It was fun. It was really heartwarming because the girls all got together and sent me like a best coach ever.
Yeah, right.
Plaque and this, that, and the other. And I've already been asked to come back next year, which that was pretty cool. But so that was fun. But really, I mean, unwind is spending time with my wife and the girls. And the way we look at vacations is that, when you're a business owner, you have the flexibility in your schedule to kind of take days off or do what you need to do if your team is working optimally, right? So we have these mini vacations, little weekend getaways and
Right.
things like that. Yeah, it's always hard to get away for a long period of time when you run a big
Yeah.
business.
Well, since I've known you, I've never heard you say like,
Yeah.
we're taking the week off to go to Costa Rica.
No,
It just,
no. We figured we'd do that.
Yeah.
Once we don't have so many responsibilities.
The girls are off to school.
yeah.
Yeah.
College or
It's funny you say that about and I had this really stuck with me. I used to coach my kids when they were younger too, in whatever sport they were in, and someone said you never want to be a kid's last coach, meaning they didn't have a great experience, so they don't want to do it again. Doesn't mean they were good or they were bad, whatever. They want to have a good experience.
Right.
You never want to be the guy that makes them be like, I don't want to play anymore. So I always thought that kind of stuck with me. So
me telling the girls that it's okay to get hit by a ball to get on base probably wasn't a good idea.
right.
It's okay. It's
Really
only
good.
for a little
That's
while.
right.
It's all how
Get
you
you on
describe
first
it,
base.
right?
Yeah.
That's right.
Get
You
you
can
on first
dodge a
base.
wrench, you can dodge a ball.
Yes, exactly.
Just go right out. Don't be scared. We're gonna go practice getting hit.
Speaking of dodgeball, what are you watching on TV right now?
I'm a miniseries guy, so I love Billions. I love watching Billions.
Final season. We've discussed that many times before. Yeah.
Succession. I watched all those.
Yeah.
Sometimes I go back through some older ones. Like I picked up Eastbound and Down again.
I
which
just
is probably a
rewatched
bad
that
idea.
too.
That's one of my
Yeah.
guilty pleasures.
Oh, yeah.
My wife hates that show.
Oh.
Hates it.
I just rewatched
Righteous
it.
Gemstones, right?
Yes.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
So I'm more of a mini series type
Mhm.
of guy. I don't really watch TV.
Yeah.
I'll watch the news a little bit in the morning, but it's pretty depressing.
Yeah.
I just I like watching streaming TV is probably the best thing.
Music.
Yeah, I love music. Workout music, it's definitely hard rock. I'm a big
Mhm.
Nirvana fan. Pantera. I don't know if you guys ever heard of
Yeah.
Pantera.
Oh, yeah.
Sure.
But in the car music, unfortunately, it's freaking Coco Melon, Baby Shark, Mickey Mouse's greatest hits.
Yeah,
that kind of
right.
stuff.
Kids
Finding Nemo soundtrack.
Oh gosh,
Uh-huh.
yeah. Unfortunately, I know all those songs.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I was there.
Oh yeah. You know how it goes.
Yeah, we both were.
Yeah.
You know what time it is now, right?
It's spin the wheel.
It
time.
is time to spin the wheel.
I'm gonna let you do it.
All right. So we have a little segment here, Mark, we like to do. And by we, I mean me specifically. I love this section here. What we're going to do is I'm going to ask you here to.
Hey, we don't need a timer.
I don't know
One
what.
on the screen.
Yeah, I know. I just noticed that earlier too, by the way.
Oh, is that new? Because I never noticed.
I
that before.
didn't do that. I thought you did it.
I did.
I was like, oh, he must have done
Ask
that.
and you shall
I
receive.
was like,
man.
he must have figured that out.
Right.
Okay, so if you were to turn around here, Mark, and
Yep.
look at the screen, you're going to see as our wheel of various topics. We don't know what it's going to be, and neither do you.
It's gonna be dream vacation.
I know. It seems to be, we're going to need some new topics here too.
It's probably part of the NSA. They're listening to us.
Oh,
That's right. Okay, come on here. Let's.
Well, how long
No,
does this
it
thing
can't
take? We almost did it.
Oh,
All right.
are we on alien? No.
No.
Oh man.
Let's go UFOs and aliens.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're way closer to that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a much better
It's fun.
time.
Oh yeah.
What are your thoughts on UFOs and aliens?
Honestly, I think they're fake. I think it's all U.S. government technology. Yes, the universe is vast. I don't think that if something was going to come and visit us from millions and millions of light years away, they would come in a tic-tac shaped object.
Yeah.
Or a flying saucer shaped object, right? I think the technology would have to be so advanced that it's probably unrecognizable.
Yeah. That's an interesting take on
It's
it.
a very interesting perspective.
Well, and another thing is too, if you come from millions and millions of miles away and then you crash when you get here,
Yeah.
I question your technology.
Here's the other thing
Yeah.
too. What I don't buy into either is think about it this way. The aliens that we've supposedly seen or had, in
You talking about those
captivity-
ones in the Mexico?
well,
Congress?
they're humanoid shaped. So I don't think that something that's from this galaxy is even gonna
resemble us. Yeah.
human, right?
I've thought about that too. Like,
It's like
you know.
little green men,
Yeah.
that kind of.
Maybe it's
Right.
a cloning experiment.
Well, have you guys seen Invasion on Apple TV? It's
No.
a miniseries.
I haven't.
I gotta watch it
Is it good?
because oh yeah, So if aliens do exist, I would imagine them like that, right? It's like these ships that cloak themselves, they're invisible, and they don't look like a Tic Tac, right?
Mhm.
They're pretty complex.
Yeah.
And what comes out of the ships, their version of the alien is nothing like a human being, right?
Yeah.
Nothing at all.
Right.
No relation whatsoever.
See, I've
So
seen that series.
If they
too.
did
Oh, really?
exist, I think that's what they would.
Yeah, I haven't
look like.
watched it, but I've seen it on Apple TV.
Yeah,
You
that's
might have
great.
just because
It's
we've
great.
got a lot of the same, just like we do,
Yeah.
a lot of the same series. Mark and I've always discussed over the
Has
years.
anyone
too.
heard about season 2 of Severance when it's coming out?
No, but I
Season-
hope
heard
so.
it's coming out. Is season 1 good? I haven't seen
Oh,
it.
it's one of my
phenomenal.
favorite shows of all time.
Same here, phenomenal. You'd
Really?
love it.
I gotta
I know
watch
what
it.
you like. You'd love
I gotta
it.
watch
You'd
it.
love it. It's great. It's mysterious. You don't really quite know what's going on, but you're intrigued by it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've been watching the morning show too. Have you seen that?
Oh yeah,
I haven't got an
good.
invested. in
season
that one
3
yet,
just
yeah.
came out.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's cool. It's good.
Yeah.
I like
it
that
is.
show.
I heard season 2 took a big dip, so
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't watch it. What
It
do I
wasn't.
know?
It wasn't as compelling as season 1, but they
Yeah.
kind of. I call it like the plot thickener season,
Okay.
where they kind of like really
Uh-huh.
dynamically shift things in there.
What about you? Aliens? Yes, no?
You know what? I don't know, but I think it'd be super naive of us to think when you think of the vastness of the galaxy that there's not some other intelligent form of whatever that form is. We don't know.
Sure.
I agree with what you're saying about what we expect them to look like us. That's kind of silly. But whatever it is, I don't think we're alone. But I also am like, if there's that much technology, we probably wouldn't even know they're here. What are they doing here? Are they smarter than us? Are they observing us, or are they
Are
puppet
we their
stringing us?
creation?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Right.
Are we, being puppet stringed by this, or are we in a simulation?
Or did
Who
we
knows?
create them and we can't
Yeah.
see them?
I don't know.
It's a part of the game.
I'll
I don't know.
read the G.K. Chesterton quote. It says that human beings are not meant to understand the complexities of the universe. They're only meant to marvel at its beauty.
Yeah, look at that. He came
Mhm.
armed with quotes.
He
Do you
did.
do that all?
You prepped him. You sent him all this stuff.
I didn't see. Right here. Prepare your quote.
Yeah,
So,
Yeah.
yeah, that's impressive. That's a good note to end on.
it is.
I think we are right at 31 minutes. Great.
Perfect.
He's got a book to read.
That's right.
Yeah, I gotta
Yes. Yeah.
go read
Go read to some second graders.
Wholesome books. to
The
second
Cat in the
graders.
Hat.
That's right.
I was going to go with some Dr. Seuss, but they go to
Yeah.
Catholic school, so I was like, well, I better pick some Catholic children's books.
Catholic children's
And I
book.
show up with some Dr. Seuss. Yeah.
Well, hey, Mark, really appreciate being
Thank you.
here, and I
Thank you.
just
It was
enjoy
a
spending
pleasure.
time with you
Absolutely.
anytime. So,
Absolutely.
it's fantastic.
So
Hopefully, you'll come
move
back.
closer.
And
I
join us.
will. Definitely.
Move closer so you can come back.
Yeah.
More.
That's right.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I thought you meant move closer. I was like,
Right.
okay. Is this close enough?
No. I meant like
Yeah.
move your home closer so
Yeah.
you're closer.
That's right.
Actually, I'm not that far
Yeah.
now. I'm in Carmel.
Oh,
really?
Yeah. So I drive by Allisonville Road.
This guy, he
every
just
day.
keeps upscaling everything.
Yeah.
You just see the car he pulled up into. We'll talk about it afterwards.
Yeah.
So,
Talk about it after.
thanks again,
All
Mark.
right. Thanks,
Thank you.
guys. Appreciate it.
Stop that second.